Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. All right, so here we are again, our second meeting, going through Sharanagati by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And Didi, could you just scroll up a little bit? We can see where we left off.
Actually, this is the this is the verse we had to start. I just checked now. So
we're here on Ye Shamsa Eva Bhagavan Daya Yedananta there.
No, that verse we finished, and then we have to start from this one, this Ka
Okay.
Panditastva.
Okay, well, we can go back. We can start a little bit. Can you just scroll? We want to take our time. You can go back to Gurudev's introduction. So we're beginning this new journey, right? Going through Sharanagati. We heard our Gurudev's editor's note from 1949. And we can scroll down, Didi. And we went through some of these verses that our Gurudev is citing from the scripture on the significance, the glories of Sharanagati. And then, so we went through some of those verses from the Upanishads and other places, Srimad Bhagavatam. And we're going to pick up from there, continuing with hearing these verses. So I'm gonna start from this Martyo Yada Tyakta Samasta Karma. Okay. So this is I didn't get a chance to finish. I wanted to say a little more about this verse. So this verse is included by Srila Sridhar Maharaj in Prapana Jivanamrita. And sorry, I didn't greet everyone. I'm just in a bit of a head spin because I'm on my way out the door to the airport. But Dandavat pranams to everyone. I see, of course, Suvasini Didi, our lovely hostess, is here, and Steve, Tungarasa, Marie, Sue Davy tuning in from Australia, and we'll see who else pops in. Okay, so this verse here, Srila Sridhar Maharaj includes in Prapana Jivanamrita. And it's very much tied in with the whole, with kind of like the concept of Prapana Jivanamrita, you could say, like, because, what is the type, right? This name, Prapana Jivanamrita, right? So this word Amrita, there's like a double meaning there. One meaning of Amrita is nectar, right? But more literally, it's referring to immortality, right? Mritya is death. Amrita is the opposite of death, right? So mortal and immortal. And so like tied in with this title, Prapana Jivanamrita, right? The nectar and the lives. Prapana is referring to surrendered souls. So what is the nectar in the lives, jiva, right? The lives of the prapana, of the what is the nectar in the lives of the surrendered souls? But are we recording, Didi? We're recording? Okay, sorry. Then another idea that's being indicated here is very interesting, and this is also what's being mentioned in this verse here, is that how do you actually become immortal, right? Through surrender, right? You attain immortality through surrender, actually, because that's the real world. Everything else is like a temporary, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a temporary arrangement, for lack of a better word. It's like a temporary concocted imaginary show where you get to be the king of the world, right? But if you actually want to join the real world, the immortal world, then that means facing up to reality. That's the beautiful reality of Krishna being at the center, and we are serving him, right? So So this is what's being described here, and this like transition is what's being described here. And then in this Prapana Jivanamrita, you know, we're being given the privilege of getting a glimpse into the hearts of those souls who have entered immortality, who have entered the real world, the constant world, not some temporary like permutation of, you know, various concocted ideas that we have that has a lifespan, but entering the current of eternity. That means surrendering to that higher reality. And you know, in the introduction, and I'm talking a lot about Prabhupada and Jivanamrita because these two books are so closely related. You know, but if in that introduction to Prabhupada and Jivanamrita, there's a really wonderful article that's been taken from talks of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and he also mentions there, you know, this is one of the main points about Vaishnavism. You know, and in particular, you know, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that here we're being given like what, so he mentions there this point, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, what is the nature of a positive, what is the positive and progressive existence of a soul within immortality? Like you don't find that talked about in other conceptions. Yeah, there's some vague idea, right? There's some vague hint of that. But like, what are the actual details of that? That's a big question mark, pretty much across the board, you know, except what's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, throughout the Vedas, you know, there are different things here and there, but it's in a bit of a scattered way. But in Bhagavatam, in a very systematic, clear, and with a strong philosophical foundation, this is all being explained and discussed. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming along later, and again expounding upon that. So what is the positive and progressive nature of a soul living within immortality? Okay, so we can attain an immortal life. That's wonderful, and that's almost like enough, right? If someone's suffering immortality in this world, then just to know that there's an immortal life, that's almost like enough, right? It's like, oh yeah, there's a wonderful white light we can join, or there's a heaven we can join. Like that's like almost like enough. Like we've got enough to think about, right? But it's still a thought that will come to those with some deeper feeling of inquiry. Like, okay, what happens once I reach there? Then what do I do? What happens then? And that's what's being discussed by you know, in the Vaishnava school. So this verse is describing this process, like giving up your mortal life and your life based on temporary relative self-centered values. How do you, you know, and then entering the eternal flow, right? How do you do that? By giving up those temporary concocted ideas, embracing what is the actual interest, the central interest, that supreme interest. So this is that verse, Martyo yada takta samasta karma nivedi tatma vichikyushito me tatamri tatvam pratipadya mano mayaya mayatma bhuyaya cha kalpate vaya. That verse I think is sometimes rendered a bit different. Krishna says to Uddhava, when a mortal being completely abandons all mundane endeavors, surrenders themselves unto me and acts according to my desires, he attains immortality and becomes fit to associate with me. And this phrase here, you know, I'm not a Sanskritian, and maybe Suvasini Didi can say more, but I've seen, you know, we see often with different words in Sanskrit, there's some range of meaning, right? And this vichikirshi tome is being translated here as acts according to my desires. Another way I've seen it rendered and described by Srila Sridhar Maharaj is kind of like, this is kind of like more of a passive expression of this. But the other way I've seen it expressed is like they're eagerly inquiring, like they want to know, how can I please you? How can I please the Lord? They're inquiring into that. They're seeking after that. How to please the Lord, how to satisfy the Lord. So that's also, being indicated there. So very, very wonderful verse to contemplate. Okay, we can go on to this next one here. Yesham saeva bhagavandaya yedananta sarvatmanashita padoya nirvyalikam te dustaram atitaranti cha deva mayam naisham mamahamiti di swashrigala bhakshe. If one wholeheartedly takes shelter of the infinite Supreme Lord's feet, the Lord bestows his true mercy upon him, and he thereby transcends the Lord's insurmountable Maya. The Lord does not bestow his mercy upon those who ascribe the conceptions of I and mine to the material body, which is nothing more than food for jackals and dogs. Kapanditas, so these are Bhagavatam verses. Kapanditas tvarapadam sharanam samiyad bhakta priyadita gira suhida kritagyat sarvanda dati suhido bhajato bikamam atmanam apupacha yapachayo yasya. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. O Lord, you are the truthful, grateful, and affectionate friend of your devotees. What learned person would ever take shelter of anyone but you? You fulfill all the desires of your friends who serve you. You even give your very self to them, and yet you are neither augmented nor diminished nearby. Is this spoken by Yudhisthira? I'm trying to remember. Do you remember, Didi? I remember. It's such a beautiful verse. You are the truthful, grateful, and affectionate friend of your devotees. What learned person would ever take shelter of anyone but you? You fulfill all the desires of your friends who serve you. You give your very self to them. This is one way in which the Lord is known, and there are different expressions like that you find in the scriptures, like who gives himself. This is the nature of the Lord. Who likes to give himself to his devotees. That is his nature. He becomes conquered by the love of his devotees. And this is the ultimate power of genuine devotion, right? Shri Krishna Karshini Chasa. That it is the attractor, the controller even of the Lord himself. That is the power of bhakti. Now this verse is one of my all-time favorites. This is spoken by Uddhava. And this is one of the first verses that I learned. And because Shuddha Shalva Prabhu liked this verse so much, so I learned it just from hearing him chant it. So beautiful. Aho Bhakiyam Sanakala Kutam Jigham getting ahead of myself. Aho Bhakiyam Sanakala Kutam Jigham Saya Payayad Apyasadvi Le Begatin Dachi Uchitam Tatonyam Kamva Dayalam Sharanam Rajena. Kamva Dayalam Sharanam Rajena. To whom would we take shelter? What more of a merciful shelter than will we find other than Krishna? Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala. Aho means like, my God, my goodness. Aho Bhakiyam Sanakala Kutam Jigham Saya Payad Apyasadvi Le Begatin Dachi Uchitam Tatonyam. Kamva Dayalam Sharanam Rajena. Kamva Dayalam Sharanam Rajena. Oh, even though the wicked Putana nursed Krishna with her poison-speared breasts, intending to kill him, Krishna granted her a position befitting his mother. Of what merciful Lord shall we take shelter other than him? So this Putana, right, she's referred to as Baki. It means she's the sister of this Bakasura demon, like maybe the younger sister. It's kind of funny. Janardana Maharaj pointed out, it's almost like an affectionate term, like Baki, like the younger sister of Baka. So she's he was another demon who came and tried to kill Krishna. I forget, was he the bird one? Might have been the bird demon. So she came like in the disguise of this beautiful nursemaid with poisons made on her breast, wanting to kill Krishna. But how merciful is Krishna? Simply saw, oh, she wants to feed me. He's just extracting that. My God, man. And if you think, we were talking about this in our meeting yesterday, like how petty we can be, right? With all of our, they did me wrong, 25 years ago. We're going to hold that to our grave, right? They looked at me wrong. They cheated me, right? But how merciful, somebody came to kill him. And he's just saying, oh, she wanted to feed me. So he gave her a position like a nursemaid. How merciful is Krishna? How kind. Where shall we find someone more merciful? Where else shall we go for shelter other than Krishna? And this verse, it's remembered because it was chanted by Pundarik Vidyanidhi, one of Mahaprabhu's associates, when he met with Gadadhar Pandit for the first time. There's this famous incident. You remember that story? Pundarik Vidyanidhi? Gadadhar Pandit, I know Suvasana knows it. When Mukunda brought Gadadhar Pandit to meet with Pundarik Vidyanidhi for the first time. And Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was a wealthy Vaishnava, and he dressed like a wealthy person. Remember, very opulent dress, like to the extreme, curling, oiled hair, and silken beds and cushions. And he had a hookah, fancy hookah with expensive tobacco and all kinds of stuff. He's being fanned by servants, opulent clothes, and Gadadhar came in and meets him. He's like, and Gadadhar is the polar opposite, very simple, austere Vaishnava. Oh yes. And he's like, how do I understand this? And what kind of a Vaishnava is this? And then Mukunda knows what Gadadhar is thinking, so he prompts him with this verse from Bhagavatam, and it touches Pundarik so much that he enters this state of ecstasy. He starts rolling on the ground, tearing at his hair, tearing at his clothes, and just chanting this last line, Kam va dayalam sharanam bhajema, Kam va dayalam sharanam bhajema. To whom shall I take shelter other than Krishna? Who is more merciful than Krishna? A very wonderful verse. Kim dura paranam tesham pumsam udama chetasam Yerashitas tirtapadas chadano yasanatyaha. The Supreme Lord's feet destroy all material attachment. What remains unobtainable for even persons of agitated mind who surrender unto them? It's very hopeful for us. Didi, do you want to chant these last verses?
Yes, yeah, okay. Naham atmanam asase mad bhakte sadhubir vina shriyam chatyantiki brahman esham gati raham para. Narayan declares to Durvasa Muni, O Brahman, without my devotees, those sadhus for whom I am the only shelter, I desire neither the bliss of my own nature nor my 6 eternal opulences.
So he's saying, pretty strong. He's saying, like, I don't want to be God without my devotees. Because he's referring to these 6 opulence, right? Of beauty, wealth, power, strength, fame, renunciation. And this is like the definition of God, Bhagavan. The definition of Bhagavan, God in Sanskrit, who possesses in full these 6 opulences. Krishna is saying, I'm not interested in that, nor in my own bliss without my devotees. So it's a very strong statement.
I think this is also like, coming in that, the Aham Bhakta Paradina, I think that section, right? This is along, yeah, this is, I think, talking to.
You want to talk about that verse, Stevie?
Yeah, this is like Durvasa Muni, like actually, this is the story of Ambarish Maharaj, right? Ambarish Maharaj, when he's a pure devotee of the Lord, and there is some small thing he did, maybe he broke the fast, the little water before serving Durvasa Muni and his devotees or his disciples or something. And he got angry, Durvasa Muni, and then he was, he sent a curse, to Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj was very calm, accepted this. But then the chakra of Narayan, he actually started chasing Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni fled from one place to another, and then he finally goes to Narayan, and then at that time he spoke these verses to Durvasa Muni, and so the Lord says about the glories of his devotees, how he is actually not independent. So the another verse which comes along with this in the same section, he said, Aham bhakta paradino hyasvatantra ivadvija sadhubir hasta hridayo bhaktir bhakta janapriyaha. So this is like, I'm not independent, Swatan, I'm not independent, I'm completely under the control of my devotees, and they are in my heart, and they are so dear. I don't know exact translation. They are in my heart, and what to speak of my devotee, the devotee of my devotee, they are very dear to me. Bhakte bhakta janapriyaha. So they are very, and there's one more verse which is also quoted along with that. But anyway, this is one of those beautiful verses she's talking in that section. Yeah. You want to say anything, Vishaka?
No. I mean, I think that was beautiful, Didi. Yeah, we can continue, I think. And welcome to everyone else who's joined in the meantime. Girid Hari Prabhu's with us, Radhana Rupini, Priyahita, Kirtita's tuned in, and Dana. Welcome, everyone. And I'm also here with Nanda Krishna Prabhu and his wonderful cousins, Julian, and a few others around the corner.
Okay. So let's continue. So Samashitaye pada pallava plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murare bhavambudir vatsapadam param padam 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 yet vipadam natesham. For those who have taken refuge in the shelter of the great souls, the abode of the lotus feet of Sri Murari, who is renowned as purity personified, the ocean of material existence becomes as insignificant as the water contained in a calf's hoofprint. Their destination is the supreme abode, never this world where there is danger at every step.
And this is a very cool verse because there's like some play with the sounds, and so this padam, this sound padam is being, and the word padam, it means like feet, right? So so here this vatsa padam, vatsa is referring to the calf, right? It's a wonderful verse. It's saying like all that's required is a shift in perspective, right? Like for one whose vision is properly adjusted, like all the problems, all the complexity, all the issues of this world, they're reduced to the amount of water within the calf print, the hoof print of a calf, a baby cow. And then here, padam padam. So this padam padam, but here padam is referring to the Lord's feet, padam, supreme. So padam padam, the supreme feet. So for one who's taken shelter, right, of those, the supreme feet of the Lord, then all these troubles are reduced to this. And then this padam padam yad vipadam. Then this padam padam is referring to at every step, right? And then this other word vipadam. This is a different word. Vipada is referring to danger, right? So it's a wonderful sound here. Play on this, and you'll hear this phrase sometimes quoted. Padam padam yad vipadam. Janardhan Maharaj likes to quote that. Padam padam yad. This is the world where there's danger at every step. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. And very, very, very nice verse. There was something else I wanted to say. I forgot. But yeah, very nice. Suvasindi, you want to add any comments on that verse?
No, that's beautiful what you said. It's very beautiful, the verse, you know. It's also in Prapanna Jivanamritam, this verse, it is there. Yeah.
Does anyone else want to add any comments or bring up a question before we move on? Okay, well, we can continue. Do you want to continue, Didi?
Yeah, okay. Chiram iha vrijinatas tapyamano nutaphair avitrisha shad amitro labdha shanti kathanchit sharanadha samupetastvат padhabjam paratman abhayam vritam ashokam pahi mapannam isha. O Supreme Soul, for so long in this world I have been tormented by sin, burned by remorse, and constantly harassed by my 6 insatiable enemies. I have never obtained peace. O bestower of shelter, somehow I have come before your lotus feet, which are the abode of fearlessness, sorrowlessness, and immortality. O Lord, please protect me. I am in danger. Do you know who told this verse, Didi? This verse spoken by whom? Do you know?
No, I don't remember. It says in Bhagavatam, but
yeah, it's in the 10th canto. Yeah,
very touching and heart-rending verse. And something I think many of us can relate to.
yeah.
Comfort and solace. Right? And this this verse also reminds me of can you scroll up a little bit? This is, it feels like Bhakti Vinod Thakur's song, Atmanivedanam is pulling something from here, right? The Ashoka, Abai, Amrita Advai, Tomara Sharanagati. This is saying like I've come to your this song Atmanivedanam is kind of like starting at the second half of this verse, right? The good part. Like the dark parts, we already know. And then this song Atmanivedan is very beautiful. Many of you know that song. Atmanivedana tua pare kori hoino paramasuki dukkha dore gelo chintana rohilo chori ke ananda deki ashokaya bai amrita dai tomara charan. So it's saying, now I have taken shelter at your lotus feet. I'm experiencing, so much joy. I see joy, and I experience joy in all directions. How does it? Dukkha. So all suffering, sadness, anxiety has gone far away. And then the second verse is also saying what's here, like, Ashok. Ashok is like the opposite of lamentation. Sorrowlessness, I suppose, is how it's put here. Abai, fearlessness here, fearlessness. Amrita, immortality. So yeah, these are linked, right? The same expression. So happy song. One of our few happy souls. They're all happy, but some of them are a little more on the I'm suffering side. I'm in Maya's side. But yeah, Admani, check it out if you don't know it. Oh, and we had a question here. The 6 insatiable enemies. So yeah, there are different lists of different enemies, but there's the 6 enemies that are often mentioned, and those are Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, bewilderment. No, envy, sorry, envy. Yeah, I think that's it, right? Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, or bewilderment, and envy. Those are the 6. And so sometimes they'll just be like indicated, like you're just, everyone's just meant to know, So how is it actually indicated in this verse? Oh, Shad Amritra, right? Because Mitra is friend, so Amritra is enemy. Shad is 6, so yeah, 6 enemies referred to here. And sometimes in some verses they'll mention Kam Adi, so like the 6 enemies beginning with Kam, lust. So yeah. Okay.
There's one more verse from Bhagavatam. So here. So. Tanme bhavan khalu vritaha patirangajayam atmarpitasya bhavatotra vibho videhi ma veera bhagam abhimarshatu chaidya arad gomayuvan mrigapater bhalim ambujaksha. This is from Rukmani to Krishna, a letter of appeal from Rukmani to Krishna. O Lotus-eyed Lord, I have chosen you as my husband and offered myself unto you. Therefore, O Almighty One, please come and take me as your wife before Shishupal, like a jackal plundering a lion's prey, suddenly touches me. I am to be enjoyed by you alone.
This is a very nice verse. I think of this verse sometimes, right? And we can think of, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj also includes this in Prapana Jivanamrita. It's either in confidence in the Lord's protection or embracing the Lord's guardianship. I can't remember. But it's a beautiful sentiment, right? Rukmini is saying, like, I belong to you, and someone else is coming to take me away. Like, please come and kidnap. She actually gets kidnapped. She asks Krishna to kidnap her, literally. And so sometimes, we need that too. We need to be but in our case, the enemy is ourselves. So it's like, Krishna, please kidnap me before I destroy myself. Please rescue me. I belong to you. I'm your property. Please don't let anyone else take me, including myself. Like a jackal plundering a lion's prey. Wonderful. Suvasindhi, I'm gonna drop off here because I'm running short on time. For those who weren't here earlier, I have to catch a flight. I have to finish up a few things. I'm flying to London. So I'm going to drop off here. I'll leave this running in the background. And Didi, maybe you want to finish going through this introduction.
Okay. Should I? All right, we can. What's the time now? It's another
20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we can continue maybe next time if you like.
Oh, no, Didi, please, you continue. I think everyone will be very happy to hear the verses.
I think this rest of it, this is to Bhagavatam, and then the rest, I think, from Bhagavad Gita, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, I think they're all from...
Not everything, but yeah. And then some Puranas, right? Yeah. It's quite I think it's quite
a lot, isn't it?
Quite a lot, yeah. Maybe I'll just do Bhagavad Gita, and then after that, probably we can
Okay.
Leave for the next, because I don't think we can finish everything today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is quite a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sivasni Didi, for hosting, taking care of all of us. My dandavats to all of you, and I'll see you all in London next week.
So let's have a safe journey.
Safe flight, safe
Safe
travel.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue this for the rest of the few verses here from Bhagavad Gita. So this is the famous verse. This is I can say, the apex of the teachings in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva pabebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Abandon all forms of religion and surrender exclusively unto me. I will liberate you from all sin. Do not despair. So, it's so hopeful for us, Krishna giving. So, ma suchaha, do not despair. So just surrender to me, and then, he's giving so much hope to us. And the next verse, tam eva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tad prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsisi shashvatam. O Arjun, surrender unto the Lord in all respects. By his grace you will attain his eternal abode and supreme peace. And there is 2 more verses from the 7th chapter. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya dhuratyaya mam evaye prabhadyante mayam etam tarantite. My alluring trimodal Maya is insurmountable. Only those who surrender unto me can transcend Maya. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prabhadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudharlabha. After many births, an enlightened soul surrenders unto me, realizing Vasudeva is everything. Such a great soul is extremely rare. So I think that is all from Bhagavad Gita. And the next one goes on to the Vishnu Purana and everything. Probably we can do that next time. Does anybody want to say anything, any comments or any questions or? Okay. So these are the few verses, in Bhagavad Gita about the surrender to the Lord. It's like the only way you can transcend Maya is like surrendering unto the Lord. So Krishna says, like, it is Maya is insurmountable, Mama. And also another thing is to note here, he says, it's Mama Maya. This is my Maya. This is his potency. So if you surrender to him, to Krishna, and one can, transcend the Maya. So he said, only those who surrender unto me can transcend Maya. So mainly to, taking encourage, taking shelter of the Lord all the time. So all these verses, whatever we have gone through this, to take shelter, refuge in the Lord. Anything else? Anybody wants to say anything, or shall we close here? There's still some 15 minutes left. Or should I go on some more? What do you? Okay, I'll read a few more verses, then maybe another few more minutes. So, okay. In the Vishnu Purana, so these are all actually, as we went through last time, Vishaka was telling, Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, I know, published this book, and with this, actually in the beginning, you can see this is, translated from the original 1949 Bengali edition. This is the editor's note. So as like, we can see that Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, at that time was very young. It's 19 years old, but, maybe 2 years after joining his Guru Maharaj, that he has put all these verses, gone through so many, it is quoted from Puranas, from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and, for the surrender. So it's quite wonderful that he did, at that time. Anyway, I mean, we can't compare it in an ordinary way, he's Mahabhagavata, so, but it's still just so much wonderful piece. Okay, so I read a few more verses from the different Puranas here. And so that's in the Vishnu Purana. Smrite sakala kalyana bhajanam yatra jayate purushastam ajam nityam vrajami sharanam harim. Upon remembering Sri Hari, the soul becomes a recipient of all auspiciousness. I take shelter of him, the unborn, eternal, Supreme Lord. And then in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Prapyapi Durlabhataram Manushyam Vibhudev Sitam Yair Ashrito na Govindastair Atma Vanchitas Chiram. Those who attain a human birth, which is extremely rare and desired by even the demigods, but do not take shelter of Govinda, deceive themselves perpetually. In the Brihanaradiya Purana, Samsaresmin Mahaghore Mohanidra Samakule Ye Harim Sharanam Yanti Te Kritartana Samshayaha. Within this ghastly material world, which is engulfed in ignorance and sleep, those who surrender unto the Supreme Lord are successful in all their endeavors. Of this there is no doubt. Paramartham aseshasya jagatam adi karanam Sharanyam Sharanam Yato Govindam Navasidati. Govinda is the origin of all the universes, the supreme truth and the ultimate shelter. One who surrenders unto him never falls down. Okay. So maybe we'll stop here, and then we can continue from the next time. So here it says it's which is what you can say, human birth is so valuable, where we can use this time for this is a human birth, is extremely rare. He said even this is desired by even the demigods. So this is a very rare, the human birth, and then taking this opportunity to take shelter of Govinda. That is our real business here. So that is emphasized in these verses. Okay. Any more? Anything else, or should we stop here? Okay. Right. Okay, if there is nothing, then we'll continue with Vishaka next time. So Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Vishaka Didi ki jai. Sharanagati ki jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Haribo jai. Haribol. Dandavats everyone. Hare Krishna. Dandavats Giridhari Prabhu. Dandavats. Dandavats Divya Shakti.